Welcome to the Empower Her podcast. I'm Deanna, an ex-corporate manager turned certified coach, empowering you to create the life of your dreams. My goal is to guide you and support you in understanding what you really want in life, what steps to take to get there, and learn to actually enjoy the ride. Whether you are climbing the corporate ladder, a stay-at-home parent, or an entrepreneur, I coach you on how to believe you are worthy of a balanced, happy, and energetically positive life in work and at home. My goal in this podcast is to help you recognize patterns, implement change, and use your energy for positivity within yourself and your own life. I believe you don't have to suffer in this lifetime. You can create a life on your terms based on what you want, regardless of what that looks like. It is about reframing your beliefs, letting go of negative thoughts, and looking at your life as a set of opportunities there for you. I'm so excited to get started. Hello, and welcome back to the Empower Her podcast. I hope everyone had an amazing week last week. It was Labor Day. I can't believe it's like the middle of September. It's crazy. It just blows my mind. I'm so excited to talk about this topic today, but it's so funny. We're talking about happiness today, and I actually have a personal update. Is over Labor Day weekend, I got engaged, and I'm super, super happy. I'm super excited. If you've been following me or listening to the podcast, I did an episode on how to manifest your ideal partner, and I talked about finding my partner. And for me, this has always been an interesting topic because I was in several serious relationships. I loved being in relationships. I also loved being single. I used to have a blog, and I would write about all my Tinder and Bumble dates, and I would do statistics, and like there was a point where I was going on like 5 dates a week. And so it's so crazy to think that like three and a half years ago I was going on all these dates, and now I'm engaged to the person that I want to be with. And for me, marriage and engagement was honestly not something that I thought I wanted. All throughout my 20s, I was very anti-marriage, being with someone for forever. I couldn't even really imagine it. I had some interesting experiences with partners in my long-term relationships where even though, I was in several relationships that were several years, there was always a reason it ended. And I felt like I'm not sure that I can, or that we or me and another person can uphold a relationship for years and years and years. And my parents got divorced after 20 years, which definitely took a hit for me and definitely made a big difference, especially because it happened when I was an adult. It was like 19, 20 when they were getting divorced. And so it really affected me, and I knew what was going on, and I saw firsthand, and, it really did turn me off. But then I saw people like my grandparents who were together for like 59 years, right? And so that's also, crazy. But again, that was a different time. So I've always had this like love-hate relationship with the idea of being with someone for forever, marriage. I always knew that I wanted to have kids. I've talked about this before too. If you know, I'm super spiritual, and I believe in like being able to talk to your spirit baby, which is like the spirit of your unborn baby, like when you're not even pregnant yet, like just the spirit that's attached to you, the child that you're going to have. I know that I think I'll have multiple. That's just what I feel. But there's one soul in particular that I've always felt really, really attached to. She gives me girl energy, feminine vibes, and I've just felt really, really attached to her. And she comes up in my visualizations, my meditations, especially lately. And so I've always known I wanted to have kids, but I always said, especially with modern technology and everything, if I don't have a partner to do it, then I'll do it by myself. I had no qualms with doing that. So it's just crazy to think where I was even 3.5, 4, 5, 6 years ago, and where I am today. I never thought that I would be at this point, I would be so happy with someone. I would feel so calm in a relationship. I've always felt in all my other relationships that one foot was sort of out the door for me because I always had a B plan, a C plan, a D plan because I felt like it wasn't going to work out or I felt like something wasn't right. Even though I did always give my all in my relationships, I really did, but something always felt off. And this is the first time it hasn't. And so I'm super excited by this engagement. I'm super excited to get married to my partner. And it's more about just our commitment to each other rather than me, or us showing it to the world or making it a big deal. We're not going to have a big wedding. We actually already planned all of this, so the engagement wasn't really a surprise for me at all. But I'm still super happy about it. But we will be getting married soon. That's all I'll say. But maybe I'll post about it on Instagram. I'm not a big poster on personal stuff, but if you guys are interested in this, let me know. And I always can. I just always feel like people aren't. So I try to stick to things that are coaching related, neurodivergence related, tips and tricks, strategies, all that good stuff. So that's my exciting news this weekend. That was really great. I'm so happy. I'm just over the moon and I'm just so excited for the next few months. Let's just say that. So a week or two ago, I put up a question box on Instagram asking if anyone had any topics that they would like me to talk about on the podcast. And so today's topic is coming from that question box, which I felt like was such a great question. And the question was how to be happy when you're doing chores or things that you don't love doing and not feel miserable, scared, angry, upset while you're doing that. So I absolutely love this question. It's really just about basically, we have so many things in our life that we do that we don't necessarily enjoy or that we don't love to do or aren't our favorite things to do. And how can we be happy regardless, right? That's sort of where this question's going. And I heard a quote that really resonated with me. I'm not really sure if there was one person that said this or if it's just going around Instagram or whoever, but the quote was basically that happiness is not an emotion, it's a state of being. Okay, so this is super important because emotions typically we can't control, right? If something happens, an emotion is your reaction to whatever's happening, good or bad, right? Sadness, frustration, anger, excitement, right? Those are all emotions, right? But states of being we can control. So states of being could be calm, elevated, high energy, happiness. Those are states of being. We can still be high energy and feel an emotion. We can still be elevated and feel an emotion. We can still be calm and feel an emotion. Same with happiness. We can still be happy and feel an emotion. So it's about saying despite what we feel in the moment, even if we're angry for that moment or frustrated, you can still decide what your state of being is. So you can still be happy. So this is what I want to talk about in relation to happiness, right? Because even if things that are happening around you aren't ideal, right? Let's say, you got a big bill in the mail or one of your family members is ill or, anything happens, you can still be and choose to be happy. And I do want to preface this because I do get this a lot is oh, that's toxic positivity. No. That's not what we're talking about, right? We're not saying everything is perfect all the time, right? That's not what we're saying. That's toxic positivity. What we're saying is we're looking at your life and thinking about everything that is happening for you instead of to you, right? So basically everything has a purpose. You're trying to look at this from a positive happiness lens, right? And you want to make decisions and choices every day that are going to get you one step closer to where you want to be. That's how we want to look at choosing to be happy. So getting back to the question, how can we be happy, for example, doing chores or things we don't want? So I want to help you change your perspective on this because I really believe that this is an issue with a mindset rather than anything else. I will have a practical tip at the end, but I do want to focus on mindset because I do think that that is really, really important here. So on the base level, any person would be lying if they said that they enjoyed every part of life, right? Let's just be real. I used to hate paying bills, doing admin work. I used to hate running errands, right? But I had to change my perspective because this wasn't serving me. This just wasn't serving me. I was negative. I would have a scarcity mindset around money and paying my bills. I would feel like I'm quote unquote, wasting time running errands. I had to change my perspective because this wasn't working, right? And this is where that negativity comes from. This is super negative, right? And changing your perspective is really important. So the key is, let's look at the big picture, okay? Let's see why I am doing these things and if these things are helping me move the needle. Okay, so let's use the example of paying bills, right? Paying bills is just one thing you're doing, but what's the bigger picture? The bigger picture is, if you pay your bills, you get to keep living in a beautiful apartment. If you pay your bills, you have electricity, which allows you to cook, use air conditioning when it's hot out, watch TV, feel safe and comfortable, have the lights on, right? Paying the bills allows me to have electricity, which allows me to make it possible for me to work from home, which I love and has so many benefits. So do you see how we're looking at the end goal? What's the end goal? And then we're going back and saying, okay, this task of paying bills is supporting the end goal, which is being able to cook, having a comfortable environment, being able to work from home, right? Those are the end goals, right? So we want to look at it that way. We want to look at, is paying the bills moving the needle towards me having all of these things? The answer is yes, right? Because if I don't pay my bills, they turn off my electricity, period. So you can say, instead of like being positive about, okay, paying my bills is actually going to help me move the needle to my goals, right? So let's look at chores, right? It's the same thing. Let's take like doing the dishes, for example. What's the end goal of why you're doing the dishes? The end goal of doing the dishes is to have clean dishes so that when you cook or you want to have a snack or you want to eat anything, you have clean dishes and you can enjoy your meal, right? That's the end goal. Same with cleaning. Why do you clean? The end goal of cleaning is so that you can have a clean home that smells fresh and beautiful, right? That's the end goal. You have to think of the end goal. You have to think of the reason why you're doing the said task. Because again, it may not be the funnest chore in the world to do the dishes, but you have to look at what the end goal is, right? I do a lot of meal prepping. I personally love to cook, but there are times when I don't enjoy cooking because I'm tired or I just don't want to. But then I think, okay, I have a lot of food intolerances. I know that I need to eat high protein. I know I need to I like to eat 2 warm meals a day and then breakfast can be cold. That's going to make me feel my best, which is going to make me show up better as a coach on social media and just as a person and my partner, right? So cooking, even though I may not want to that day, the end goal is I feel much better. I'm happier. I'm going to create a better space for myself, right? I'm choosing happiness. I'm choosing to believe that cooking is going to create happiness in myself, right? Like I'm choosing that happiness, right? The end goal is me feeling better, which will happen if I cook, right? Like that's how we have to look at this. I always look at the big picture of everything, right? You always have to look at that. So a way that you can kind of reframe this is language shifting, right? So instead of saying like, oh, this sucks that I have to cook right now, right? Instead, can you say something like, I'm so grateful to be able to clean my home, right? I say this when I pay my bills. I'm like, I am so grateful to be able to pay my bills. I always say that when I pay my bills because I used to have a bad money mindset, scarcity money mindset. And paying bills would feel like, oh my God, I'm like, money's like going out the window, you know? So I would say, I am so grateful to pay my bills. I'm so grateful that I have a full trash can to take out, right? Because if you have a full trash can, it means you were able to buy food and things that you need. And then you had trash to actually put in the trash can and take out. I'm so grateful to have full trash to take out. Language shifting is going to be extremely important when it comes to looking at what you're doing in your daily tasks and reframing it and choosing the happiness. Because when I reframe it this way, I am choosing happiness, right? You can thank the universe, you can thank God, whatever you believe in, and this will create a massive, massive shift. I guarantee it. The language shifting is like one of the most crucial and important things that you can do to start getting yourself into the state of happiness, because when you're grateful, you will inevitably be happier. So being grateful is just so important. So this mindset shift is crucial. In terms of something tactical that you can do specifically is habit stacking. Okay. So you can habit stack your chores to make it go by faster, to make it more fun, or whatever you feel, right? So what is habit stacking? Habit stacking is when you put 2 or more tasks together and you do them at the same time so that you can be more productive, or just for fun, right? Or just for fun. Sometimes it's just for fun. I also, by the way, if you want to learn more about habit stacking, I created a free habit stacking 101 guide. I'm going to post it in the show notes, the link, but it's basically a free guide where I give you examples of habit stacking, and then you have a table where you can create your own habit stacking. It's super great and you can use that. So definitely download that if you want to start habit stacking. I'll link it in the show notes. But habit stacking is really important. So for example, if you're doing the dishes, can you listen to a self-help podcast? That would be maybe productive. Can you watch TV? That would be fun. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with fun. Sometimes I'll go on the treadmill, especially when it's too hot to go on hot girl walks, and I'll go to the gym. And I'm not always responding to emails. I'm sometimes just watching Scandal or a show. Let's be so for real. Sometimes I just need to do something fun with something that I maybe don't want to do, but I know is going to be good for me, because I know walking is going to help me have a clear mind, regulate my nervous system, etc., right? I'm always going back to what is the end goal, right? Same thing when you're cleaning. Can you listen to music? Can you watch a YouTube video? Can you do a meditation or a breath work, right? There's many things that you can do. You're stacking 2 things together. You're stacking the cleaning with the nervous system regulation, or the YouTube video, or the TV, or music, or talking on the phone, right? If you feel like you don't have time to talk on the phone with someone, grab your headset, grab your earphones, and talk on the phone with someone while you're cleaning, right? Then it will go much faster, right? Try to see what you can put together to make it more fun or productive, right? And again, you need to change the mindset first, because if you don't change the mindset, it's going to be really hard. You have to choose happiness. And choosing happiness can just literally be okay, sitting down and saying, today, I am choosing to be happy, period. I'm choosing to be happy. And you can say this to yourself every morning when you wake up. You need to start thinking about what the end goal is for all of your tasks that you're doing. So see where those chores are going. What is the end goal? What are you supporting? What needle are you moving? And then you can also habit stack as a more tactical tool, right? And again, you do not need to love every single moment of your life. That is not what I'm saying. That's the toxic positivity. But you can decide to be happy, right? Understand what the greater purpose is that you're serving. Do the habit stacking, do the language shifting, put it in that context, and you will see a difference in how you view all of the things that you do. I guarantee it. It's going to help you so much. And just that small mindset shift is going to make such a big difference in how you approach your chores and those tasks that you normally don't love doing. You're going to see them in a completely new light if you use these tools and implement these steps, okay? I hope this was helpful. I hope that you got a lot of great info from it. If you ever do have any podcast episode topics that you'd love to hear, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I am always in my DMs. I love chatting with y'all and would love to hear your thoughts. I hope y'all have an amazing, fabulous week, and I'll catch you in the next episode. And if you love this episode, don't forget to follow the podcast and leave a review. And of course, you can follow me at Coach Deanna DeBolt on TikTok and Instagram. I'll catch you next time.